Hello and welcome to the Salah Poetry Podcast. This is episode 55. My name is Rory Hatchell, and today we're going back to the Psalms. Obviously it's been months since I've posted one, but it's been a few episodes since I've got to talk about the Psalms. And I was just going through my psalmist project list of all these psalms, and I found one, and it is rare for me to find something that I've written and not hate it, especially if it's been a while since I've written it. I wrote this February 17th, 2014, so I wrote it 5.5 years ago. So it's incredibly rare for me to find something I wrote 5.5 years ago and not be like, wow, that's just garbage. That's awful. And I think there are still things I would change, but I really like it. And I just wanted to share it. And it's my podcast, and I can do what I want. So, Psalm 39 is the psalm we're talking about today, but this poem is called Handbreath. And the epigraph is, "You have made my days a mere handbreath. The span of my years is nothing before you. Each man's life is but a breath." Salah. Psalm 39, verse 5. The music of our praise calms the air within this room, soggy with the aroma of holy. A breath could not disturb this holiness. The great humming inside me resonates, tuned to the symphony around me. Distill me in this quiet hall. Would all my parts be sweet? Or would the bitterness of memory ring out off key? Our tongues stumble, our mouths flap open, slack-jawed and panting. The klutziness of our teeth chatter and refract melodies off of ivory trash cans. The ruckus in our heart is the vomit at 3:15. We wake up realizing the pills will never work. We are dying. Purge all the attempts to swallow the divine like flaming swords. Selah. There is radiation falling between stars. It is stuffing the black, empty spaces in the skyline, threads of loyalty, violins being strung across the universe to the ruffles at its neon yellow edge. It is tapping on our windows. Romeo is in the song, "Oh, the gravity of him. Let him in the room." The ballad of Venus's moons, of Jupiter, of galaxies swirling in the iris of our hearts. Between each of us is a line, making constellations that angels study to better know the glory of God. The saints read our stories on sheets of music. As the chords of brotherhood wax and wane, we are notes, brief but ringing out, stirring these vibrations, pungent with his holy breath. And so, now I'm going to read Psalm 39, the psalm which inspires it. And it has a little epigraph as well. "For the director of music, for Jeduthun, a psalm of David. I said, I will watch my ways and keep my tongue from sin. I will put a muzzle on my mouth while in the presence of the wicked, so I remain utterly silent, not even saying anything good. But my anguish increased. My heart grew hot within me. While I meditated, the fire burned. And then I spoke with my tongue, show me, Lord, my life's end and the number of my days. Let me know how fleeting my life is. You have made my days a mere handbreath. The span of my years is as nothing before you. Everyone is but a breath, even those who seem secure. Surely everyone goes around like a mere phantom. In vain they rush about, heaping up wealth without knowing whose it will finally be. But now, Lord, what do I look for? My hope is in you. Save me from all my transgressions. Do not make me the scorn of fools. I was silent. I would not open my mouth, for you are the one who has done this. Remove your scourge from me. I am overcome by the blow of your hand. When you rebuke and discipline anyone for their sin, you consume their wealth like a moth. Surely everyone is but a breath. Hear my prayer, Lord. Listen to my cry for help. Do not be deaf to my weeping. I dwell with you as a foreigner, a stranger, as all my ancestors were. Look away from me, that I may enjoy life again before I depart and am no more. So what I took away from this psalm, the big kind of thing he keeps returning to is the transient nature of human life. We're all going to die one day. And that's something to think about. It's not a happy thing, but it's a realistic thing. And that when we talk about the divine, we talk about the great narrative that is human existence and mankind, humankind. We know that we're just a blip on the radar of that. And in this, David is frustrated. He knows that he's but a breath, and so he puts his hope in God, because God is an eternal thing. So being so short-lived, he hopes to be part of this eternal thing. And simultaneously, he's frustrated with his shortness, and he's balancing, he's trying to hold on to it. In the beginning, he's frustrated. In the end, and then he's like, but the Lord seems to be my only hope. But he's like, but then I'm so frustrated because like the Lord disciplines me. Not everything goes perfect for me. Like I have such short time, and they're still suffering. And it's like, well, then I just cry out to God, right? Do not be deaf to my weeping. And what I wanted to write in this poem was that back and forth a little bit. I didn't go back and forth twice, but this kind of two phases. The phase of, man, what I have is difficult, and I struggle, and I'm trying to express myself. I'm trying to make my mark on eternity. We talk about legacy. We talk about our children. We talk about, our experiences. We're trying to latch on. It's like eternity is this speeding train that it's gonna be gone in half a breath, but we're all trying to jump on at the right time and latch on to eternity. And first of that comes from this frustration with what we do have, frustration with the mortal and the temporary and the short-lived, our failed attempts to be good or be profound or be eternal, right? We're not all Shakespeare or Aristotle or Mozart, these people who will be played and experienced throughout time and space of human existence for as long as we can. I mean, Aristotle lived thousands of years ago. And he didn't, most people who we remember from that long were like conquerors. We had Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great. It's like, no. I'm not a conqueror. I didn't build a thing. I had ideas. I wrote things. I taught, right? So Aristotle, I mean, what an impressive figure for human memory that he has stuck around so long. We can't all be Aristotle. We can't all be, Jesus or Muhammad or Moses or Buddha or Abraham. We're not all these grand epic figures in human history told over and over and over again. Most art will be obscure and burned and forgotten. Time will eat it. And as I was writing that, I think the part that came to me is I thought about music and how in music every sung note is a breath, and more specifically it's a very short breath. You sing your song for a tiny bit, and there's a little breath in the lungs. Even if you hold it, I mean, it's not the whole song, right? So if each person was a note, they're vital. There's no song without the notes. The song is the eternal narrative that we get to participate in, and not seeing eternity as a train we're all missing. That's really stressful. But seeing eternity as a song we're all a part of. And I mean, even just reading it now, there are parts that just kind of strike me where I say, I look at all the things, the creations God has done, the universe, the stars, the moons, like, man, I've got nothing on that, right? And seeing this eternal thing. But then between each of us is a line making constellations that angels study to better know the glory of God. We are his song. We are his artwork. He made the moon and the stars and the sun and the galaxies and the heavens and the mountains and the rivers and the valleys so that we may better know him. But he made us. Depending on which theology and mythology you connect with, he made us because the angels didn't have something. They missed it. The angels could sing his songs and obey him and follow him, but they were lacking. Creation wasn't done. They were with him. They were the heavenly host. But creation wasn't done till he got to us. And I love the idea of angels reading constellations of human lives, of families like Braille. And if they read enough, will form a story. Great stories about civil rights, about redemption, about forgiveness, about hard decisions to put people first and to love despite pain and vengeance and wounding. Epic stories. I like to imagine the angels reading that and being, oh, that's the God I serve. That they may read our lives, the notes of each of our little breaths forming a song that allows them to better know their Creator. And I say the saints read our stories on sheets of music as the chords of brotherhood wax and wane. We are notes, brief but ringing out, stirring these vibrations pungent with his holy breath. That's how we participate in the eternal. We ring out. And God makes it pretty clear. I mean, my artist friends listening can take refuge in this. God makes it pretty clear that if we don't ring out well, he will champion our song. He will amplify us. That's what the cross is. That's what the resurrection is, and redemption and grace are. It's okay, you're not a perfect instrument. It's a perfect song. As hard as that is. As frustrating and fleeting as that is to hold on to. So, I'll read it one more time. Once again, this is Psalm 39, Handbreath. You have made my days a mere handbreath. The span of my years is nothing before you. Each man's life is but a breath. Selah. Psalm 39, verse 5. The music of our praise calms the air within this room, soggy with the aroma of holy. A breath could not disturb this holiness. The great humming inside me resonates, tunes to the symphony around me. Distill me in this quiet hall. Would all my parts be sweet? Or would the bitterness of memory ring out off-key? Our tongues stumble, our mouths flap open, slack-jawed and panting, the clumsiness of our teeth chatter and refract melodies off of ivory trash cans. The ruckus in our heart is the vomit at 3:15. We wake up realizing the pills will never work. We are dying. Purge all the attempts to swallow the divine like flaming swords. So there is radiation falling between stars. It is stuffing the black, empty spaces in the skyline. Threads of loyalty. Violins being strung across the universe to the ruffles at its neon yellow edge. It is tapping on our window. Romeo is in the song. Oh, the gravity of him. Let him in the room. The ballad of Venus's moons, of Jupiter, of galaxies swirling in the iris of our hearts. Between each of us is a line, making constellations Angels study to better know the glory of God. The saints read our stories on sheets of music as the chords of brotherhood wax and wane. We are notes, brief but ringing out, stirring these vibrations pungent with his holy breath. Take that with you this week, friends. You are notes, brief but ringing out. In all spiritual disciplines, it is important to remember how brief you are, but how much you ring. You have to hold both thoughts. Never forget how brief it is. That will put everything in perspective. But never forget how you ring. That will drench everything with meaning. I hope you all have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Give yourselves space, time, and energy to pause and reflect. Selah.